very revenue that you collect must also equally employ. Can improve efficiency. I know there is pushback. I know there is resistance. But I will tell you, that was expected. What will make it work is the will and the commitment of the leadership of this country. I may come back to that. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is not merely about changing numbers. It's about building a revenue system that is fair, inclusive, and growth-oriented. It's about broadening the tax base in a manner that brings the traditionally hard-to-tax sectors into the fold, while ensuring that existing taxpayers are not burdened. In fact, I've told the CG, and I've told the chairman as well, that we have talked far too long about broadening this tax base. Mpaka, it has become a song. I don't know how far we need to go with this broadening of tax base if we are still talking about it. I think the best thing is now to come to a point where we are sure that we have either concluded broadening the tax base or we are near there. Because it is broadening, every budget speech, broadening tax base. In fact, next budget speech, if God permits me to read it, I think that terminology, and when I'm seeing you here, you're the ones who are drafting my speech. I don't want to see that word, broadening of tax base. I think I saw Mwenda somewhere mention that. I've seen his look alike. But I hope this message goes to him. If we cannot broaden this tax base between now and June next year, then we better just put it aside and live the way we are living. Because we can't be talking about the same thing every year. I heard Rotich speak about broadening tax base. I can't remember whether Njeru Gidai also spoke about it. But I think even Uhuru Kenyatta, as Minister for Finance, talked about broadening the tax base. Let us either actualize it, ama tuseme tumeshindwa. Sindio? So broadening of this tax base, CG, must be concluded in your tenure. What is it? What are these gadgets that have not been bought? Or what is it that we are not doing right? It's about reducing the cost of doing business, ensuring that the tax administration supports enterprises, and reinforcing the principle that we all have a role to play in building the Kenya we aspire to have. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we look to the future, it is clear that we must reassess and reimagine our tax policies and revenue administration strategies. We must be bold in reform, but also deliberate in ensuring fairness. We cannot treat taxpayers like criminals. We must employ a system where we are bold, but at the same time we must be fair. We must benchmark against best practices, and I've heard, Chairman, you've quoted a very good classical example, and there are many across the globe, while designing solutions that suit our unique context. I know we are unique as a country as well. That we must also live with. Kenya is unique in everything, even our democracy. We are very unique. We have no comparison. Please don't go anywhere to try to compare Kenya with any other country. You will fail miserably. But even with our uniqueness, we also still live in the global world. So we can still borrow examples from others. And let us, by the way, compare ourselves with the best. Not where, anyway, let me not go. Above all, we must remember that a healthy, expanding economy remains the surest and most sustainable path to increasing revenue. Our economy must grow. There is no way we can increase revenue without economic growth. And that is why the government is committed to looking at those sectors that are struggling so that we have a holistic, growing economy. Our economy has been lucky that we are a diversified economy. That has ensured some resilience. But we must make sure that those sectors, like manufacturing sector, mining, those ones which have been struggling, like construction, we try to help those sectors to grow. Once the economy is growing as a whole, then even the revenue will grow without even doing anything. Just maintain status quo and your revenue will be growing. But now if you put effort, then definitely we will have better revenue collection. So today, as we mark 3 decades of KRA's dedicated service to the nation, we also renew our commitment to the journey ahead. Let us renew our commitment to the journey ahead. We do so with confidence in our capabilities. I believe in you people. I believe you can deliver. That is why I come here. If I didn't believe you could deliver, I would not waste my time. So I believe in you, and I believe the entire government, I know, believes that KRA can deliver. We trust, thank you for that. We trust in the resilience of our people and faith in enduring promise of Kenya. The National Treasury will continue to support KRA in realizing its full potential, working closely with the legislature to ensure the agency is adequately funded and fully equipped to fund our country's budget effectively. So I know I've failed you a bit, because when I last came here, I said I was going to put a lot of effort in KRA. But 2 things have happened. Number 1 is that naturally I didn't know the weight of what was waiting for me. The National Treasury. To be honest with you, I had no idea as to whether if I had all the information and the facts would have changed my mind from taking this position. I don't think so. But again, there was also changes at Kenya Revenue Authority. A new chairman was coming in, and so you also want to give space to people to get in without appearing like you are distracting and disorganizing the system. But I think now, Mr. Chairman, and having worked with you in other places fairly well, I don't see why we can't again work closely to support KRA to deliver. And when KRA delivers, Kenya benefits. So congratulations once again to KRA on this monumental milestone. May the next 30 years be filled with even greater success, innovation and service to our beloved nation. So I wanted to conclude. I didn't have a very long speech. But before I conclude, I want to say a few things. Let me start by saying you cannot rebuild trust with the population by playing safe. You can't. If you want to please everyone and play safe, you can never rebuild trust, especially where trust has been lost. The population must see you that you are serious. They must see a serious person in you to again have trust. We must be seen, or you must be seen, to be trying to take on corruption, which is our biggest national monster. We know yourselves. I was today sharing with, it's because there are some people who are playing with the numbers somewhere. And those people are across there, they are not with me. I'm not the one. I have not called anyone among you, see, ever since I became CS 1 year ago, to tell you that please clear that good. I've never called Lillian here. I'm a Lillian, nimekupigia simu. I have not called you, I have not called anyone, I will not call for the period that I will serve in this ministry. Hata kama ni mtoto wangu, he will come to me to help him or give him a loan to clear the goods there, and he will pay me later, or she will pay me later. So, where is this fear? please, get it right. I am appealing to your morality. I know many of us here have those standards, very high standards. Keep it there and pull the rest. Some of them are your friends. If you see them like this, please tell them what you are doing is not good. It's destroying this country. You know, we always refer to public service as a calling. Is that not correct? I believe, I have no doubt not to believe, and I believe that more faces of the true public service will emerge. In Kelele, there are a whole country, true faces of public service. Of course, we have a duty. We have a duty. I'm telling you, now that I've been the Treasury, it has opened my eyes even more. It has opened my eyes more. I thought I knew a lot about public service. I thought I knew a lot about people's sufferings. I just knew a percentage of the suffering. We have Kenyans who need medication and they cannot afford. Us, at least, maybe we may be lucky that if you are sick, if you are unwell, you can get medical attention. There are Kenyans out there who die simply because they can't afford 100,000 shillings, which some of you spend on their lunches and dinner dates. But there is someone losing his life or her life somewhere in the corner of this country because they can't afford medication. It would be important if we have a government which can make service provision of healthcare affordable and accessible. And that can happen if you collect the money from Kenyans who should pay it and remit it in whole. And then we use it to educate those children who cannot go to school because they can't afford school fees. Because capitation can't reach them, the government cannot provide enough budget. Why? Because our revenue is depressed. So I am just appealing to you. And as we do that, we will also play our part of ensuring that the money that you collect and give us, we use it also prudently. And that is where I started somewhere, that you can see the resistance against e-procurement. We all live in this country. We know. If you see tender in the government, that is what they say here in the streets. And I've been a street person and I'm still one. I listen, I hear. If you don't know who knows who, if you don't know someone who knows someone in government, don't waste your time. That is what they are saying. You will not get that tender. It's already decided. And what does that mean? There is a markup. There is money that we should not pay as a country, but we pay because someone wants to manipulate the system to profit themselves. Manual systems can never be transparent. Manual systems can never be efficient. And this talk of it can't work, where is it coming from? And you know, the people who are saying it can't work have never even tried. If we can print, our passport has been digitized and is accepted worldwide. It's a security document. We are printing it here locally. And you are telling us that we cannot procure through an e-procurement? We cannot procure digitally? That Hawajui it is unconstitutional, Hawajui what? Which is this constitution which is supporting corruption? That's not the constitution that I campaigned for in 2010. That's not the constitution that I read, that I took a whole weekend to understand before it was passed. Our constitution calls for transparency. Article 227, clear, telling the government, the implementers, to make sure that a system that is fair, transparent, accountable, and cost-effective is implemented. and asks you to pass legislation. And the legislation was passed, Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act. Thank God it was passed when I was in Parliament, 2015. And in that act, you read from section 49 all the way to 64. It talks nothing else but electronic procurement system. And then it gives rise to regulations. Again, I thank God I was in Parliament in 2020 when regulations were passed. And Regulation 49 actually conditions you as a default procurement method to e-procurement. So when I hear, and for even's sake, I've been a member of Parliament for 17 years. When I hear someone saying that there was no public participation, all this document went through public participation. You can't be asking public every time you want to do everything. Then now I want to buy biro pens. Public, can you approve it? The public has already approved regulations, which again has approved electronic procurement system. Then now when Mbadi wants to issue a circular, you want the public again to be involved. Then why did the public give me this job? Because they gave it to me through the elected representatives who vetted me. During my vetting, let me make you laugh. During my vetting, one of the outstanding reforms that I pledged I would support to deliver to the people of Kenya was e-procurement. And the committee members of Parliament praised me for that. His Excellency the President, while giving the last State of the Nation address, gave National Treasury up to July to implement e-procurement. And I remember members of Parliament clapped very hard. In fact, I think they even stood under their seats. And I was watching from the dais. And I took note as a faithful servant of the people of Kenya that I'm going to do that. When I announced on April 7th April, that we are going to have e-procurement, no one raised a finger. That was public participation. What can be more public participation than that? Official launch at what do we call it? Kenya School of Government. Then, again, on 12th of June, before 12th of June, I went across the country. You saw me at Jivanji. And at Jivanji, I was very clear. I told those people there, and Kenyans were watching, that we will implement e-procurement because they were asking me, you are collecting so much money from us. How come we don't see value for it? People are stealing it. I guaranteed them that that theft will be minimized, reduced to minimum, because we are going to implement e-procurement. And they clapped. Those who are Kenyan, public participation. Public participation, extensive one, at Jivanji, daytime. Finally, when I went to Parliament on 12th of June to read my budget speech, one of the key reforms was e-procurement. Again, my former colleague, members of Parliament, clapped for me. How, again, this has turned out to be unconstitutional, lack of public participation, I can only guess that self-interest has now come in. And to me, that is not something I'm going to accept. And I want to conclude. I'm not going to accept it because this system, from the brief, even this morning, that's the meeting I had before I came here. The system is working, my friend. It will work. Just embrace it. The accounting officers embrace this system. Procurement officers embrace it. Why? Because you see now, this system translates from IFMIS to EGP. And where we are now, all state departments have been moved to EGP. Their budgets are there. So those of you who are out there, state departments, start now having procurement plan in the system and start purchasing. Wacha kelele mingi nje. The system is there. Start changing. Your budget is already uploaded, all of you, in the system. Start procurement from today. Go get your procurement plans, put them in the system the way you used to do with IFMIS. Now put it on EGP and start procurement. The only difference this time is that we are going to see you, how you do the procurement. We are going to watch, including a tender evaluation, tutaangalia umeevaluate namna gani. Lastly, for counties. For counties, up to now, about 31 counties, their budgets have come from the controller of budget. Wengine wanapiga kelele na hata budget yao haijakuja. So how do you procure without a budget? You know what some people used to do, especially in the counties? They used to start agreeing with contractors and the suppliers to give them goods even without procurement. That one is not going to happen now. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. I wish I could do it differently. It is not possible. If you talk to someone to give you to supply you without following the procurement process, hiyo itakuwa shida. So that is the problem. So their budgets, the 31 which have come, they are being processed. 13 of them. I will give the statistics after today, maybe tomorrow. 13 of them are being processed. In fact, 2 counties are ready to start putting their annual procurement plan in the system. They are ready, they can put it. I think one of them is Kitui. Is ready. Kitui is ready, can roll out. I think in Akisi, they are ready. I'll give those statistics. Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission is now procuring. PPRA is procuring. Wewe bado unanyamaza hapo unangoja. No, it is not. You are praying, it doesn't work. You are praying very hard. I don't think your prayer will be hard because God can never be that unjust and unfair to the people of Kenya. I want to end my speech by saying, let us embrace change. Change will never be loved. It comes with a lot of disruptions. Even when you were changing the system, you took me through. Where is that good lady who took me through? Yeah, and explained to me how you started in 2003. Yes, my sister there. How 2003 you started. And remember, Commissioner General, at that time you were probably just collecting, in 1995, you were collecting about 100 and something billion. Then came 2003, then they started digitizing. And with that now we are at 2.something trillion, 2.5. I'm sure if we went back to manual, the way we were doing it, those days where you work with books, then unauliza, wewe umelipa tax, how much have you paid? Hizi goods zako ni pesa gapi? I am sure we would still be collecting billions, not trillion, isn't it? So let us just embrace change. I don't know, maybe I've spoken too much, you'll forgive me. But I guess I was the last speaker. Yeah, so KRA chairman, you know that I am ready. We will work to work with you very closely to support you. I know usually the problem is money. What I said, and Nabado, we have not fed the cow. So Commissioner General, let's sit with the chairman. Let's sit to angalia what can we do. You also know we are facing challenges. But if some of you are also colluding with those taxpayers, especially VAT, those you call them absentee what? Missing. Those missing traders of yours. If you can eliminate missing traders, you know, we are paying a lot of money to people who have not done, they are just claiming, they are employing accountants to cook books. Yeah? If you can reduce that, then we will also make more money available for you. I'm not saying all of you, you know a few of you do those things. Most of you are okay, but these few people are making money unavailable for all of us. So we must work on that. But Chairman, CG, let's see what we can do. Let's not just be talking. Yeah? Let's see what we can do. We have a supplementary budget maybe coming soon. We can add some revenue to KRA so that so long as you convince me. You are clapping before I finish. So long as you can convince me that if we give this 1 billion, it can translate into another 10 billion. And I'll hold you for it. Because if I give you the 1 billion and 6 months in Aisha, sijaona hata 500 million, sasa hapo tutakosana. Sindio? Thank you very much. God bless KRA and happy birthday to KRA again. The 30th birthday. It's not easy to live. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Bwana Waziri. Another round of applause for Bwana Waziri, please. Thank you very much. You may take your seats for those very candid remarks. A great reminder of when you were here and you talked about the cow. Someone said when you're driving your car, there's E for empty and there's E for enough. He said that time the cow was enough, now it's at empty. But thank you very much for looking into our issues. We're grateful for your speech. Bwana Waziri, today's a day of confessions. You have led us through confessions. I want to confess. I apologize. I gave some wrong detail. I want to pay our respects to our fallen commissioners general, 2 of them who have left us. That is Mr. John Munge and Mr. Michael Waweru, who have since transitioned, and my apologies for the previous mention. May their souls continue resting in graceful and eternal peace. We want to, during the just concluded National Music Festival competitions that were held in Meru, our very ambitious, were you there in Meru? Mulienda Meru? Some went, some did not go. You were the one who went. Ulikula peke yako. All right. So there's a song that was composed, Bwana Waziri, to celebrate KRA at 30, and this song was placed as a competition song in Meru, and it was sung through various categories, all the way from primary school into tertiary education, composed and sung just for the celebration of KRA at 30. And right now we want to welcome the KRA choir to present to you the Pearl Bonanza song, which was presented at the music festival. KRA choir, karibu.
ushuru tunaoulipa. Tumeimarisha biashara nchini, ni kwa sababu ya ushuru tunaoulipa. Tumeongeza nafasi za ajira, ni kwa sababu ya ushuru tunaoulipa. Tumeimarisha udhabiti wa kifedha, ni kwa sababu ya ushuru tunaoulipa. Tumeboresha maendeleo kiuchumi na kijamii, ni kwa sababu ya ushuru tunaoulipa. Huduma sasa zimekuwa bora na haraka, tunajivunia huduma bora. Huduma sasa zimekuwa bora na haraka, tunajitahidi kuijenga Kenya. Teknolojia imerahisisha huduma zetu, tunajivunia huduma bora. Taarifa zote zinapatikana kwa mtandao, tunajitahidi kuijenga Kenya. Huduma za iTax, huduma bora, tunajitahidi kuijenga Kenya. Huduma za ICMS, huduma bora, tunajitahidi kuijenga Kenya. Tunasherehekea miaka 30 kushirikiana tukijenga Kenya. Tunasherehekea miaka 30 ya kuwawezesha wananchi kote Kenya. Tulipe ushuru, Wakenya wote tuitegemee, tushirikiane tuijenge Kenya. Tushirikiane tuijenge Kenya yetu, tuijenge Kenya.
In 1995, a new chapter began. Through a gazette notice, the Kenya Revenue Authority was established, tasked with unifying revenue collection and strengthening Kenya's economic foundation. Step by step,